Hey, this week we're going to look at everything that went into making my short film, Starfisher. 15 videos on the channel, about a year and a half of production, pre-production, post-production, and the festival tour. Let's get into it. Hey, how's it going? Anthony Fro here, Crate Sci-Fi. Well, this is my favorite kind of video to make. Next week, the 30th of June, I'm going to be releasing Starfisher. It's a film that I've been working on for a couple years. If you follow the channel, you know. If you're new here, welcome. What this is a recap video. I love making these videos. So in preparation for the film coming out, I'm going to review all the videos we made on the channel that went into that film. Mostly costumes and props. Also, I think some scouting videos and whatever I was doing at the time that was going into the film. And that kind of ties into my whole thing about the momentum budget, how you just, you can do these things without a budget. It costs money, but the momentum, you can get things started. And this film was exactly that. It was funny because, I've made a lot of these low budget, high impact shorts, but this one, I sort of didn't have any money, as is typical, but I'd done crowdfunding, I've done all these things, and I had to figure out how to make this one happen. And this is funny, but it's like, oh, I wrote a book. The Outsider Filmmaker. And this book, it's actually not so much a plug as really, it just talks about how I do this in a momentum style, right? It's more of a mindset than like a how-to nuts and bolts filmmaking guide. And part of the thing that I talk about in the book that I had to do myself, or remind myself that I do, is just everything you can do, like making the props and costumes and doing readings with people and talking about it and visiting the locations. All that is a momentum until it was like the one day I had to film it, still didn't have the money, so then I put a bunch of props from the channel on eBay and raised the money that way. Obviously, you would do something else, I don't know, a garage sale or something, but it's like, so I do practice what I preach. But anyway, if you're watching this in the future, like I said, it's still interesting, I think, because this is going to show you the process of the channel. And then when you're watching the film, it's always fun to see like how I made the sausage. Okay, so jumping right in. The journey pretty much started with this when I got a laser cutter sponsor. And here you see that I made this series of laser videos where I made this console right here. And that was a 3-part series. So let's take a look at some of those. So now it's commitment time. All the stuff on the panel where you sit, not the upright panel, is been laid out for weeks and weeks, and I keep switching it up a little, but now it's time to commit, and I'm gonna have to glue everything down. And then there's a little tease of what it looks like in the movie, and where I can do that, I'll do that. So the next one is, I just wanted stuff for the background, so I had this space helmet that I had used in a few other projects, but it was never really focused on, but I recycled it and sort of used the colors and some of the logos for this film just so it would be in the background. And I'm pretty sure you never see it, but it was there. Maybe I can find it in the raw footage. And here's that upcycle video. So this is the water-based oil paint. The other black wash was acrylic, both water-based, which is good. If you go too hot, you want to tamp it down. So that was just sort of like a rust color. Now the costumes, admittedly, are my favorite, and that goes back to my theater days. When I was an actor in theater, my favorite part was putting together the costume for the character, like going to Goodwill, and that sort of never left me, and that carried over into my film work. So for this character, I had the idea of the Hawaiian shirt guy, right? Like that Vietnam vet helicopter pilot. It's kind of like, it's a trope, but it's like a good one, right? I think in Harry Dean Stanton in Alien is like a Hawaiian shirt guy, so it's a thing now. So I was like, I want to make the Hawaiian shirt sci-fi guy. So here's the video where I put that costume together. This is awesome. And it's great because it wasn't what I originally thought of, but I had a starting point. And then, you know, if you're open, once you're sourcing stuff to the better idea or a different idea, because it was what you could find. Now this next one is interesting. There's sort of a term, right, in creation, like killing babies, because it's like you make something that you love and you're really attached to, and then in the big picture, it doesn't work out. So here you'll see in my script, I had a moment where he's futzing with the engine. So I didn't have a location yet, and I was like, well, I know he's going to be putting hands on this engine. So I made this engine, and I'll share that video with you here. And it came out really cool, but just randomly, the location I ended up using just happened to have like very predominant like engines in the room. So I ended up scrapping this piece. And then ironically, the scene in the film where he futzes with the engines, in the big picture, I cut that out too. So it's process, right? You can't be precious about this stuff. But let's look at that engine. This project was smiled on by the prop god, so it fit. I make a joke because it doesn't always fit. So now the weathering, right? Here's where the people that love weathering get exciting, and here's where the people that hate weathering get horrified. Okay, so next, this one was really fun, and it was kind of a bucket list for me. It was kind of, I like the more retro first Alien movie sort of vibe. So I knew I wanted his computer that he's on throughout the film to have that retro feel. So I found on eBay like an 80s, or I guess it would be 90s, early word processor that kind of has that retro computer feel. And I made a video where I sort of upcycled that into a retro sci-fi prop. So let's take a look at that. That's the home screen that'll be on in the background most of the time. So I have those 4 images. So here I'm putting it behind, still not believing that it fits. Yes, thumbs up. And there she is. Wow. So the next thing I did is, and again, specifically the props are like what's happening in the script. So at one point there's low oxygen. So I made this oxygen meter, and I just 3D printed this, and I originally was going to do it with just pieces of tape to show high, low, medium, and I had it all worked out. But the DP was like, no, we're just gonna put a light behind it. So I was like, okay, best idea wins. He showed me it was fine. And here's that build, and I'll show a tease of it in the movie. We're kind of tricking synapses. That sounds like a lofty idea, but that's all it is. Again, I'm going to say this for the billionth time. You're going to see it for 4 seconds close up. It'll just kick off in your head that it's a metal thing. And I just like it. And the rest of the set pieces are painted similar to this. So, my nail polishes. I love my nail polishes. Okay, so this next one was a big one. And again, it's kind of a throwaway thing. It's not really featured in the film, but it had to be there, right? So parts of my film, he's in his bunk. So I knew this, at this point, I knew the set that I was going to use, but it didn't have a bunk in it. So I'm like, oh, I need a bunk. So when I don't have a budget, I go to Temu, and Temu's pretty good about sci-fi kind of things where in your real life, they're probably garbage and don't work, but just for a silhouette or to play the part of a sci-fi thing, it's really good. So I got these like silver sleeping mats, and I was like, okay. And then I just went to the Home Depot and bought the cheapest lumber I could get just to make a platform so he would have his bed. And here's that video. So this mat I'm going to put on here. This is the bed. This works exactly as I hoped and imagined it would. But once I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, you know, if there's ever, it's not cost effective what I'm thinking now is like a wall piece. So you see there in the background as I'm putting this on, I have the Home Depot sci-fi walls that I make. And now looking at that, right, I'm like, oh, that could be a good wall piece. All right, and then next I needed just hand props and bits and bobs for like around the set that were in the universe. And again, since we're on the subject of Temu, so those things, you know, I just go on Temu, you know, like a $20, $30 budget and get like a razor for shaving your head that looks futuristic and who knows, and I'm just going to paint over it, and little like clamps and bits and bobs. And here in this video, I just get like a handful of these things, maybe like half dozen things, and I just sort of paint them and treat them and make them look part of the universe. And again, none of these are hero, but like they just filled up like the desk where the computer was. You might clock one on the side there, or it might be like laying by his bed. Just little details that bring things to life. So let's take a look at that video. So you see here some red. I'm just like spray painting random patterns. You saw me mask off there some clear, like the lens, and then that clear part of that circuit tester. And the reason I did that, as you see here, is this voltmeter went away, which is fine, like I said, because it's just set decoration. But, you know, with the glass and the transparent plastic, I wanted to save it a little. But again, the whole thing about this process today that I'm doing is to not be precious.
One bladder will scrub a core freighter's O2 for 10 years. You'll be richer than you ever dreamed.
Now, this next one was my favorite, like, little thing, the beer cans. All these is at the time, I was on a THC kick. You know, you got the edibles now, and where I live in California, they have drinkables. But anyway, these cans, I was like, oh, these cans are perfect because they reseal, and they were screen printed. So I was able to just peel it off. I'll show you in the video, and just put these stickers on it because the guy had beer everywhere. So let's take a look at that video. I can just, I mean, look at that, right? So here's the can. Yeah, and that's a nice sticker, thick, heavy. Oh, yeah. And then I find it interesting when you're working like I am, when I say momentum, I was ready to go, but I still didn't have the money. So to keep the momentum going, I was like, well, I guess I'll build more stuff. And I was like, well, he has all these beers, where do they come from? So this next video, I went and this I think was from Amazon. It's like a mini, like a tiny garbage pail, and I made a beer cooler. And hot glue is always the way I go in these quick builds. So now I'm going to determine how low this needs to go. How low can you go? And once I get it there, I'm thinking, okay, that works. There's the visual. Obviously, I'm going to bury all that light. That seems like the right depth. Next, I got the money. We're getting ready to shoot, and I did a visit, and I show you the sets that I found. At the time, it was called On-Site Studios. They don't exist anymore, but the same guys, I think, are in a new location now. As soon as I find that out, I'll share it with you. They're great people to work with. And here's me touring around that set and getting prepared, getting the momentum going to actually shoot Starfisher. I was really excited about this space. And then these engines are just, I can't even explain to you, like, there's no way I could afford to make these engines, but I can rent them. So here's where I put my cockpit. Now you see they have something there that they're starting to build, but there I put the one that I built on my channel. And last but not least is this window, which you can't really see up here. So I wanted a practical window. Again, I didn't want to do a green screen and then put stars in. And the way that I had my 3D model built was specifically there was only like a little window. So I practically made this window, and then there's a TV behind it, and then that's where the stars are, and then you're able to get the parallaxing, and it's all in camera. And then I won't give it away, there's something that happens in that window at the end, and I was able to do that all in camera too. So let's take a look at that build. And then another coat of clear, right? Because everything we just did we could get rid of. So here's the final test. And you see how putting that plexiglass and putting it like 10 inches from the screen, it already adds a reality to it instead of just having like a screen of stars, right? So this is sort of my idea. I think it's going to work. So a lot goes into this, but for me, the process is just as enjoyable to me as the actual making of the thing. And I think that's a big key, a big factor in DIY low budget filmmaking or low budget DIY, any kind of creativity. The process is what I really enjoy. That's my happy place, right? So if it takes me a year to get the film going and happening, if I'm on the momentum of working towards it and in the process of doing it, that's a great year. I love those years. And, getting ready to do a feature soon. So hopefully that made you interested to go further down the rabbit hole on the channel. There's a video like this for our Star Wars film. There's a video like this for Erringer. There's a video like this for Wakener. So it's sort of like, if this was a DVD, it's the behind the scenes, but also all those videos are on this channel, and it gives you a better idea of what I'm trying to do here. Right, makes sense? And again, the video is going to drop on the 30th, June 30th, if you're watching this in real time. So make sure there'll probably be a premiere page up there where you can bookmark it. But please check it out. I'd love to know what you think about it. And I think it'll be more fun to watch knowing all this stuff that went into it ahead of time. And if you're watching in the future, like I said, I think it's all still relevant, because I made one, like I said, for all those other films prior to releasing them, and they're still good to go back and watch and see how, why, the process. But as always, check out the eBay. Lots of this stuff will be on eBay. Probably some screen use props from Starfisher will be on there soon. Check out the Patreon. Buy the book. Buying the book really helps. People still are buying the book, and that's just a really cool thing. And if you watch this far, please subscribe. It helps. You hear that from all of us. It's just the way it is. But remember, I'm just here to help make sci-fi.
Damn.